Well, hi there, Mouseketeers. Welcome to the Disneyland Beat, where our toes tap to a Disneyland drum and we always whistle while we work.
We hope you are staying healthy and making wise decisions.
We have recently really been falling in love with Galaxy's Edge and starting to truly appreciate its immersive design and storylines. We think that Avengers Campus will have a completely different approach and feel.
Today, we are going to look at the role we as guests will play in the land compared to Galaxy's Edge, as well as remind ourselves what attractions we can expect when the gates open this July 18th.
Stick around.
The Star Wars universe stories are told from the perspective of common folk, of regular people, be they droid or human, so it's pretty easy to relate to many of the characters and the situations they find themselves in.
Star Wars has invested a lot into its world building, a world that is both alien yet familiar. It has created many iconic situations that we wish we could live out ourselves. And Galaxy's Edge plays to that, creating an immersive Star Wars alien environment that was just getting better and better.
As you walk around Batuu in the streets of the Black Spire Outpost, you play the role of new recruits for the Resistance. This is something that we can do en masse. There is always room for one more. In fact, you are all needed.
Or I suppose you could choose to be part of the First Order, but I bet most people choose to go with the little guy, the underdog, the average people like us, even though we are sure you are exceptional.
And it's easy to imagine you might make similar choices in a similar situation. It's easy to relate to the role the average person plays in Star Wars.
But we see the Marvel Cinematic Universe as far different. With little exception, the public masses do not get to play an active role in fighting the villains, or even helping the heroes. Most often, they are the people who need saving. Due to their helplessness, they're usually in the way, and they always get used as collateral damage.
The heroes are truly special and exceptional people. With some exceptions, their skills cannot be learned. No amount of training will make you Spider-Man or Thor, and Iron Man only achieves his technology through unlimited wealth. And the result is there are not as many places for the average person to insert themselves into the fantasy. That's a mark against it for creating a Disney theme park land.
And the MCU doesn't have quite as many ready-made iconic products in the stories. I mean, I don't know about the Infinity Gauntlet really as a product. I mean, where's the baked-in lightsaber and droid building, the blue milk sipping, and the Jedi robes that people just can't live without?
And what is the world? The Marvel world is an expanded universe that includes many planets and realms, but still has Earth in its present time and day. In other words, it's not an immersive world that you can happily escape to because it's your world.
This is one of the challenges Disney Imagineers, and for that matter, Universal Parks on the East Coast have been presented with in creating Marvel-themed amusement parks.
And yet, Disney has solved the problem of audience engagement by inventing a story where we are recruits at a training facility. It's not exactly a new concept. Most good rides create an engaging role for the guests. But it is a little different than Galaxy's Edge this time, as your role is to help Spider-Man, not actually save the world yourself.
And there are lots of iconic moments and places in the Marvel Universe that people would want to relive and visit. So say an immersive Wakanda world is possible.
Because seriously, who wouldn't want to visit Wakanda or go web-slinging through the city or flying with the Guardians of the Galaxy or time-traveling with Doctor Strange?
But the physical look of these lands must have posed a very different challenges for the designers because of the nature of the source material.
Everything in Star Wars' 9-episode saga revolves around light versus dark and its need for balance, while the most recent installments of the Marvel Cinematic Universe focus on camaraderie and the importance of joining forces for a common goal. The physical embodiment of both theme park lands then naturally reflect these ideals.
Everything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe revolves around friendship and teamwork, using the group's talents to create the best tech. It looks like Avengers Campus will reflect this idea.
Batuu, on the other hand, literally breaks the land into light and dark, placing the First Order in control of the town and the Resistance in control of the outlying forest. The dark interior of the town center creates a shadowed place where people might discuss which side they're on. We've seen how this kind of story development takes time, and the land has become more interesting as it has developed, and Disney has put more live entertainment into the land.
I mean, they shot for the stars, and at least they made it into the atmosphere.
Rise of the Resistance is an experience. It is amazing.
But we've seen that having such an immersive land is kind of an exhausting proposition. It really adds to the amount of effort you have to put into the land and your Disneyland day. From how you get into the land, to how you interact with the attractions, and the cost of all of that, everything requires more effort than your average Disney park land does.
The way it's structured and monetized is different due to the immersiveness of the theming. Advanced reservations are required for everything. And in many ways, because of the level of detail in the land and experiences, the price tags are sky high. That isn't to say that the experiences are not successful, because they are, but they do take some effort, a lot of waiting, and a pretty hefty financial commitment.
And while we're not saying one is better than the other, Avengers Campus has a decidedly different approach. I mean, we have no doubt they will convince many a fan to part with some money, including ourselves, but it all looks to be much more effortless. It is brighter, it's entirely outdoors, it is themed to a heightened reality aided by superheroes and the technology and science. The theming of friendship and working together towards a common goal seems to be prevalent.
It reminds me a little of Epcot with superheroes, sort of an enhanced life, not too different than how we live ours today, but with a positive communal spin.
At Avengers Campus, we won't be participants in our own story quite like we are in Galaxy's Edge, but instead we will assume a more traditional Disney role of a willing and interactive observer.
And it looks a bit easier to manage, and that might be refreshing. Instead of having to pull levers and smash buttons on the new Web Slingers ride, you will simply be able to fling your wrist toward the screen to release your web. And the whole thing isn't riding on you like it is in Rise of the Resistance or Smuggler's Run. Like, don't you let that base location slip during your interrogation, or the whole thing is going down. But rather, you're just there to help Spidey or watch Doctor Strange's skills, all while having some shawarma.
We love playing along in the interactive roles in Galaxy's Edge, but we have actually had people in our group say not want to be the pilot on Smuggler's Run because they didn't want to let everybody down. People actually take the responsibility that Galaxy's Edge sets up for you very seriously, and some people find it a little stressful. And again, I see people turned away at Savi's Workshop and Oga's Cantina because they haven't planned. You have to plan with this land.
You really do. In some ways, Galaxy's Edge is more like Disney World in Orlando, requiring advanced planning.
Avengers Campus looks to be set up to be super easy. It knows and recognizes what it is. The land should have great traffic flow so you can enjoy the ride and stand by your Fast Pass, have a beer, have a snack, enjoy the accessible stunt and effects shows, and think about what they will do next to expand the land.
Don't get us wrong, we think it will be slammed at its rollout, but we're guessing it will be a more traditional rollout and no boarding passes will be required. It will have overlong lines, but it does look like the land is built to handle capacity, even if it is a small area of a small park.
Avengers Campus feels far more Californian to us. It's an open, airy, fun concept that unveils itself more and more over time. A land that leaves itself open to fold in any and all new films and shows that they debut, and a place to hang out with family and friends.
Having the land will lend a greater sense of completion to California Adventure, and as it cannot be replicated on the East Coast for some time due to licensing rules, it gives people a reason to travel to Disneyland instead of Disney World.
The main attraction that will open with Avengers Campus in July is Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure.
You help Spider-Man collect the run-amok spider bots from your swinging gondola ride vehicle.
You can even build and purchase a spider bot from the ride in the web supplier shop later. We like the STEM-flavored themes of the land and the shop. We think it will play well with all age groups. The spider bots have remotes and upgrades and even cool backpacks, kind of like the droids, and you get to carry them around the park.
In this stark automotive factory turned co-working space, young engineers collaborate on products designed to help us feel what it's like to have skills reserved for the mighty. This results in teamwork on board the ride, with passengers working together, slinging virtual webs from their wrists, boosting the group's score.
Disney is boasting that they got Tom Holland to reprise his role for the attraction, which is actually really cool.
It sounds like a lot of fun for the whole family, something new and something easy, and DCA could use more attractions to spread out the crowds.
There is a second merch shop that will open called the Campus Suppliers, and it will have general Avengers Campus products. So if you combine that with the existing Collector's Warehouse shop, that's 3 merch shops for the land.
But what we think will be the coolest part of Avengers Campus is it creates a space for all the superhero characters to have a place to come together. While the heroes do exist at DCA, they usually stand in front of a photo stage that is only the size of the camera frame. But now we should have several superhero characters roaming the land at any given time, so you get lots of meet and greets as well as several live entertainment shows planned.
You have the new flinging Spider-Man animatronic. So we should see Spidey cruising the rooftops in appearances that combine the robot Spidey with a live Spidey in a really realistic manner. Should be a cool show.
There's also going to be another stunt show with the Black Widow and the Black Panther facing off against a new villain, the Taskmaster, on a rooftop stage. The Taskmaster is the villain of the upcoming Black Widow flick, by the way.
Doctor Strange will have an interactive show at a small circular stage themed after his Sanctum Sanctorum. But there are still few details about that actual show, but they did release a new photo that shows how Doctor Strange will bring the area to life at night. And wow, it looks to be, have some absolutely gorgeous atmospherics. I can't wait to cruise this land at night. I'm constantly amazed at how Disneyland is able to transport me to so many places, all within 150 acres.
This land looks to be teeming with kinetic energy, theming, theatrics, and charm. I'm really excited about the night lighting too. DCA is almost at its best at night. The worlds are more immersive and the place has a great vibe.
There is a brand new crowd show in the center of the land. The experience, which is yet to be named, centers around the training and wisdom of Wakanda. So don't be surprised if King T'Challa drops in for a visit.
There's a new Iron Man suit, and Iron Man should be touring the land, which should be really neat.
And of course, we expect to see the Ant-Man and the Wasp around using their PIM particles to shrink our food to microscopic portions. Just kidding.
Yes, even the restaurant looks easy with its sleek counter service. It looks set up to handle capacity. It looks sleek and clean and modern, which I have to say is one of the more accessible things about Galaxy's Edge 2. If the PIM test kitchen works as efficiently as Docking Bay 7, we should be in pretty good shape and have another nice, well-rounded counter service option at DCA.
The conceit is shrinking and growing food, so they're talking about shareable bites. That's what they're calling it, and they've talked about dishes like a plant-based, large and micro-based meatball, and the PIM Mini. It's like a huge panini that you can order for the whole group, or you can just get a slice of it for yourself. They look to have a nice beer selection, and the conceit of it being a test kitchen is that it is a test kitchen, and that we are its test subjects, and that's kind of fun.
So we will finally get some shawarma at Disneyland. There is a new food cart in the land that will be serving the delectable delicacy. I can't wait. I can see the lines now. I predict it will be a park staple and a favorite in the future.
And apparently, Taneleer Tavan did not limit his collection to lovable misfits. He is also curating a weird and wonderful menu of intergalactic eats at what they're calling the Terran Treats food cart. And it's going to be the second food cart in the land.
And of course, it does finally give Guardians of the Galaxy something to belong to as well, which is just fantastic.
It has really been out there on its own for a long time, I think. And as the tallest structure in all of Disneyland, it's kind of stuck out. So this is really a big deal for the park as a whole. So it's now the eastern end of Avengers Campus. It is a place. And we should even see the red car trolley start back up.
DCA just feels much more complete.
Well, that's it for today, folks. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we hope you're taking care of each other.
We sure hope that you are staying safe and healthy through this pandemic.
And we hope that we can all be together again in Disneyland real soon.
We'll see you real soon, Mouseketeers.
See you real soon.